So what if I tell you there's an easier way to plan and visualize your ideas for photography and cinematography? Let's talk about that. What's up guys? So it's been a minute since I last posted a video. If this is your first time to my channel, I'm Jay Diaz. Welcome. So today I want to talk about a software called Set.a.light 3D by Elixxier. And I gotta tell you right now, this software is a game changer. For many of you out there who are into cinematography and photography, you know that there's a lot of planning involved. You always gotta try to get a visual of what you're trying to achieve. And to do that, you gotta plan it out by getting a pen and paper and drawing your storyboards, trying to get a visual of how you want to achieve that shot. If you suck at drawing, for example, like I do, that may not always work for you. I tried drawing on a piece of paper to do my storyboards, to plan my shots, but it's just not the same. It doesn't cut it for me. Like I just can't get a visual of what I'm trying to do. But when I stumbled upon this software, I was just blown away because it's like amazing for me anyway. Like I really love the software. Full disclosure, they're not paying me to say anything about this software. They don't even know I exist. I just decided to download the free trial to give it a try, to test it out. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm definitely planning to buy it because it's definitely worth it, in my opinion. But with that being said, I'm gonna talk about a few things about the software, what I like, and yeah, we'll just go from there. All right, so when you first download and install the software, you're gonna get a choice to basically run the basic version or the studio version. So since you get the option to run either or, I would just recommend running the studio version because you'll get like all the tools and you won't be restricted or limited. So yeah, obviously I'm using the trial version. I got like 7 days left. So for right now, I'm just gonna go and run the studio version. So from this screen, you can pretty much select the size room that you want, whether it's large, medium, or small. These are just my recent files that I've been working on as a free trial. But for the sake of demonstrating what you can do with this software, I'm just gonna go ahead and create a new shooting template. So I'm gonna pick medium. We'll go with that. Okay, so as you can see, the software loads up a template. This is basically a starting point. So just looking at this, it already gives you an idea of what you can do. You can move around the room, you can rotate it to get a better angle of your whole lighting setup, right? And then the window on the right over here, is the final result. That's what the camera sees, okay? Let's say I want to move the light around, like this main key light. So when you hover over it, you can see some arrows that are highlighted in yellow, okay? You can just like move it around and pay attention to the window on the right. Notice how the lighting is changing. So this is a perfect way to figure out your lighting, like how you want to light the subject. So let's say you were planning a photo shoot with a model and you're not sure how you want to light them. You have an idea, but you want to visualize it before the model actually shows up on set, right? So best thing to do is come into the software and place your model right here, right in front of a backdrop, okay? And you can pose them however you want. So let's say you want to tilt her head a little bit. So I'm gonna highlight her and then go to posing mode, then select her head. Then I could just move it to the side, or I can just move it up and down, or however you want to do it really. All the changes you make and with the lighting, you'll see all the results on the right. This is what the camera sees. You can also move the camera around. So let's say if that's not the angle you want, do the same thing. See that? And what's cool about this is that it replicates the settings of a camera. So as long as you have this highlighted, you can go up here to the right and you can choose whether the camera is a full frame sensor or if it's crop. So as you can see how the picture changes depending on which sensor you pick. And you could choose the focal length. Let's say if you want to choose a fixed or like a prime lens, you could just choose, let's say, fixed 100 millimeters, or you go to 50, right? Or let's say you want to go to 24. So let's go back to, let me just pick 100. Leave it at that. You can adjust the shutter speed. Okay, right now it's set to 1/25th of a second. Let's go with the extreme just for the sake of demonstration. Okay, I'm going to choose 4 seconds. Notice how the lighting got slightly brighter, right? That's because it's replicating an actual camera. When you make these changes with, the shutter speed, aperture, or ISO, the exposure is going to change. So let's go back to the 125. Let's try the f-stop. Let's see what it does here. Okay, so perfect example. Look how much darker it got, right? So that's at f20. Or let's say if I want to shoot at 1.2, look how bright. Okay, so that's how you know, all right, well, maybe let me try reducing the light intensity from the key light. So I just highlight the light fixture, and then from here, I can just reduce the light all the way down. Okay. Now notice she's out of focus actually, so there is a way to put her back in focus. The way I figured out how to do it. If you click on this button right over here on the far right corner, right below the 100, this pulls up the focus points. So I just click on one of the focus points and then it just refocuses on the model. That's how I figured out how to do that. Then I just click this again to remove that if I don't want it in view. So same thing with the ISO. You can choose how much intensity you want. One at 1600, 125, I think you get the point. Then you have over here the color balance or white balance. If you want it cool or if you want it warm, you can adjust that if you want. I've never played around with the ND filter. Let me see how that works. Oh, well, of course, it definitely works. So let me take that off. Okay, let's see. Oh, so yeah. So with the lights, not only can you move it around the room, you can also rotate it like up or down, from side to side. Now, if you want to add lights, there's a bunch of them on the bottom here you can choose from. So you got reflectors, you got speed lights for photography, continuous lighting. Let's see, what else do we have here? You got practical lights. Let's say if you want to actually build a set, we have wall elements, right? So we can put a wall here if we want, and we can actually choose textures. Let's say if I just want a basic wall, like just to replicate a room, I'm just gonna go with that, right? There is a way to make this bigger. So if you can see on the left, there's under the transform, there's different settings for position, height, and all that stuff. So position Y, position X, okay. There's the height. Let's see. Okay. So you can do stuff like that to make adjustments. Oh, so here we go. Here's the width. This is what I was looking for. So you can actually make it wider so that way it takes up the entire room. Then there's the height. Okay, so as you can see, it's sticking out a little bit, so let me fix that. This might be, no, not that. Okay, yeah, I just got it. So you can make a wall there. Now, let's say if you want to add a window, you can add a window. Right? Let's go with a door instead. All right, so there's a door. Let's try putting, I don't know, maybe there's a, yeah, let's go with a couch. Why not? Let's add that right there. Well, actually, let me move this out the way. And is there a way to rotate this? Nope, not that way. Nope, not that way either. There we go. So let's do something like this. And then move that back here like that. Okay. So let's move that out the way, move this out the way. And let's move our model back. Let's see if we can try to sit her down. Let's go to pose. Yeah, I think that's what it is. There we go. Let's try that. Okay. So let's turn her around like that. Move her back a little bit. All right, let's zoom in so we can get a better view of what's going on here. Let's do this. There we go. See that? Now, the reason why you're not seeing anything on the right side is because the camera is basically pointing towards the wall. See, as you can see here. Now, if I move the camera and rotate it down to look directly at the model, there. Now, let's say I want to light her up. Let's do this, all right? And then let's say, we can try to give her some hair light, right? Like that. So this gives you an idea of what is possible, like what you can do to plan your videos and your photos. So it actually beats having to physically uh, go to the location and move all your lights around and camera around. Oh, let's try this. Okay, wait, let me move it over here. That could take all day, and that's energy. You will at some point get tired and you're gonna say, you know what? Yeah, I just want to draw it all on paper and just to get a visual, right? Well, you have this software that can basically do it for you. You could just sit at the comfort of your desk and you can plan all this stuff, which is awesome. You can't beat this. Like it's amazing for me anyway. You know, obviously everyone has their own preference. Yeah, they might prefer to go on set. Maybe they have a lot more energy and just don't care. They just rather spend the time on set to really see how things will work out. But for me, yeah, I prefer to do both depending on my level of energy. There's just times where I want to plan stuff, like I want to get a visual, like I want to, really work on something, but then my body's telling me no, I just don't have the energy to do it. Well, in those cases, I can just sit at my desk and use this software. Now, let's say if you want to view your shots, you can go to the View tab on top, and it's going to ask you, there are changes in the light setup. What do you like to do? So you can go ahead and click New Snap, and you can render this shot. And what this does is, well, it renders it, but it also saves a file, a JPEG of this shot onto your computer. Now, if you go to export, you have choices here, and there's different templates, and you can actually save as a JPEG or a PDF file if you want, basically showing you an overhead view of everything in position with the specifications of each device, whether it's the lighting or the camera. Down the right side, you'll have your reference of how it will look in camera. There's a couple other things I want to show. So if you look on the bottom, you have your timeline. So that is the snap that we just did. And obviously there's a whole list of different types of models, okay, whether it's male or female, different skin tones. Let's see, there's different types of lights and props you can use. You can use, let's see, a reflector, a light blocker, you have a background or a backdrop, then you have a bunch of props that you can use, chairs, tables, desks, a bed. So you can basically create a room. You can create a whole set, like the same way film productions do, where you go into a studio, they have this big giant warehouse, and then you see the set that they basically build an entire house within a warehouse. So this is basically the same thing. You're building a set, and it's awesome. You can just do everything on this software, so this way you can get that visual. You can plan out your next project. So yeah, I really love this software. Like, it's great. I'm buying it. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, this software is great. I would definitely recommend at least downloading the trial version and giving it a try, and then you decide whether or not it's something you want to invest in. It's pretty straightforward. It's like you don't need to have knowledge in 3D rendering. Like, you don't need to know how to do 3D work or anything like that, because it's basically done for you. Like, you don't have to create a person from scratch. You don't have to create these 3D objects from scratch. Like, it's all there. It's almost like copying and pasting. That's all you're doing, and making some changes of of the size of the object or the model or whatever, you know, and just moving it around the room, and that's it. Like it's pretty straightforward. At least with this software, let's say if you're just starting photography, you may be able to have an idea, or at least learn how to take a photo, you know, at least learn how to manipulate the exposure just by messing with this software. So let's say if you don't have a camera just yet, but you're thinking about starting out photography, then you might want to try out this software first. So this way you have an idea of how to change the settings of a camera, and it can actually show you how to mess around with the lights. So this way you have an idea, okay, well, this is how you light a person, an object, or whatever. Honestly, like, all I can say is, like, this software is great. I mean, I don't really have anything, like, no cons really. I can't think of a single con yet. You know, I still gotta play around with it a little bit more. All I can say is, like, it's great. And yeah, I think I'm just rambling now. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this software. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what the software can do. I'm sure there's many things that I've missed because, like, I'm still learning it myself. I just wanted to give you like an overall idea of how it works. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you thought this video was helpful, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Gotta love traffic. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. If you have any questions, you can just drop them down below in the comments. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and like the video if you thought this was helpful. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Until next time, take it easy.